There are some things in this world that have had a major impact on people, but you won't find them in a history textbook. The former Air Force Base in Rome, New York is one of them. It wasn't just a military installation. It was a community. There was a strong bond that transcended the traditional boundary between military and civilian. And it's what local history is all about. Regular people, the families, workers, and everyday heroes who shaped the place. The story begins back in World War II, when the War Department was looking for a location for a new air depot, and it selected Rome as the location. Rome was no stranger to being a place of military operations. Its original identity was tied to Fort Stanwix during the Revolutionary War, and construction began in June of 1941. Following the attack on Pearl Harbor that December, finishing it became a top priority. In February of 1942, the first plane landed, and the depot was fully operational by November. It boasted 3 runways and was engaged in repairing, modifying, and maintaining various aircraft such as the B-17 and Republic P-47 Thunderbolt. During its peak years towards the end of the war, the depot housed over 19,000 personnel, with various units, such as the All-African American 100th Aviation Squadron. And there was a strong sense of patriotism. Women made major contributions to runway operations, and many even served as mechanics. Following World War II, the Cold War was warming up, and the U.S. Air Force was founded. With that, the depot was renamed to the Griffiss Air Force Base in honor of Lieutenant Colonel Townsend Griffiss, the first U.S. airman killed in the European theater of the war. Its mission also expanded beyond aircraft maintenance to include communications, research, and more. Things like the Rome Air Development Center illustrate this. It played a pivotal role in advancing electronic technology, contributing to radar systems, and even playing a role in early satellite communications during the space race. Eventually it'd be known as Rome Labs, and it continues to innovate to this day. In 1950, the base was given a mission to protect the eastern seaboard. The 27th FIS Black Falcons patrolled the skies above Griffiss, initially with F-86 jets, but they soon upgraded to the F-94C Starfire. The base also hosted the 465th FIS, which later merged into the 49th, operating aircraft like the F-106 Delta Dart. In the late 50s, the 4039th Strategic Wing was activated at the base, with the first KC-135 arriving right before the long-range strategic bomber known as the B-52 arrived. The first of which was called the Mohawk Valley, and it's on display at the park today. The B-52s were jet-powered and really packed a punch. I remember as a kid going over and watching these fly, and being absolutely blown away. There were many different planes that flew at the base, and from time to time, it would host open house events where the public could come and see. But on normal days, life on the base was kind of like being in a town within a town. You had a church, hospital, library, and even stores. When Vietnam came around, several units from the base were deployed. Recently, a memorial was set up to honor them. The Strategic Air Command took over the base in 1970, with a focus on global defense. It also became home of the Control Center for NORAD, responsible for monitoring a large region of the northeastern U.S. And a few years after that, the Northeast Air Defense Sector, or NEADS, was activated there. Fast forward to 2001, where it helped respond to the 9/11 attacks. I actually did an internship at NEADS before it changed to what it is now, the Eastern Air Defense Sector. In 1984, Griffiss was designated a Superfund site, and soon after that, over 1,000 Griffiss personnel were deployed to various locations relating to Operation Desert Storm. By this time, though, the Cold War was wrapping up, and Griffiss would find itself on a list from the Base Realignment and Closure Committee. Many in Rome protested, but in the end, the base closed in 1995, marking the end of an era. This had a major impact on the economy and population. Not to mention myself. I was in second grade at the time, and I remember friends moving away. But life moved on, and it soon transitioned into what's now the Griffiss Business and Technology Park, which hosted Woodstock 99, for better or worse, and provide a setting for places like the relocated Rome Free Academy, where I graduated. Griffiss has a special place in my heart, as weird as that sounds. My grandpa Lambert was stationed here and ended up staying in Rome. This ultimately led to my birth. He passed away last year, and it's one of the reasons that I started this local New York history series in the first place. If you've never been to Griffiss, you should check it out, because you're not going to find it in a history book. Have a good one.